Welcome back to AFTV, everyone. Welcome to full time. Arsenal have been knocked out of the Europa League. Penalties, Sporting 3-3 on aggregate. We drew 1-1 at the Emirates tonight, and a Martinelli penalty miss. Nuno Santos tucking his away meant they went 5-3. They went through 5-3 winners on penalty shootout. I mentioned that Martinelli missed the pen. I don't want all focus to be on him. Thought Ramsdale could have done a lot better with some of those penalties. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about why it wasn't until the second half of extra time that we actually woke up and started playing our football. And of course, we'll look at the bigger picture. You know, you're going to have to put positive spins on this kind of thing because it's disappointing. We know what we're going for. I think it would have been beneficial for us to stay in this competition, but it's not turned out that way. So they've got to respond. Frank, what's kind of your instant feeling and reaction to it all?
I'm gutted.
Yeah,
I am gutted because while it's very clear that the league is our main focus, it would have still been nice to keep our options open with the Europa League. I think the manner in which we've gone out is, I don't want to sound too negative, but it's unacceptable to go out that way. I agree.
I think that's a fair word.
I expected a lot better from this current Arsenal squad, and I think it is just simply down to a case of completely underestimating Sporting Lisbon. Congratulations to Sporting Lisbon, by the way.
Let's get that out of the way. Well done, Sporting Lisbon. They've got a really good Amorim, I think is his name. They've got a very exciting coach. They played some really good possession football. They dropped into a really good defensive shape as well at times. I think if we'd woken up more, I think we could have created more chances. I think we could have scored some more goals tonight. It weren't to be. Their keeper made some good saves, but for long periods of the game we were not at it, which makes you think if we had been, what could we have done? We've obviously got half of Jesus, which was good as well. So there's a lot to talk about, and I think it's important Arsenal as well hold their nerve and don't completely panic. There's just so much. Now, what we always do on this show, first and foremost, is you get the chance to have your say by getting onto the AFTV Plus app, download it on Google Play Store, on the Apple iStore, whatever it's called, apologies, or App Store, that's it, I'm having a mind blank. And of course, it's all free. Jump on, give us your thoughts. We'll be doing that for about 15 minutes from now, so hang tight. At about 20 past 11 UK time, maybe 25 past, we'll start getting calls in. What we're going to do is we're going to break down the game kind of moment by moment and give our general thoughts about being knocked out as well. So if you hear any positives, that might be because at some point in the game there were positives.
I really do think there's only one positive you can take out of this.
Go on.
At least it gives us the opportunity to focus solely on the league.
It just feels like a bit of a cheap positive, doesn't it?
It does. That's what I'm saying. I'm not proud to say that.
Yeah.
I'm not proud at all to say that, but you know, we've got 11. The way we've got to look at it, we've got 11 games left this season to win a trophy.
Yeah.
We have to, at most, we can afford to lose a single game. So I think we've put a lot of unnecessary pressure on ourselves to win the one trophy that we've got left to win. If the way I looked at it, obviously the league is our priority, but we had the opportunity to go as far as we possibly could in the Europa League. To at least, if we don't win the league, we've got the Europa League to think about. We've been knocked out early again. And in an embarrassing way as well, which seems to be a little bit of a pattern under Mikel Arteta. Maybe, I don't know if this is a fair criticism. Do you think that it is a situation of maybe, and I don't want to criticise Mikel, do you not think he takes the Europa League seriously?
Well, he went strong tonight. He went Ramsdale. He went with Zinchenko. He went with our first two centre-backs. He went with, Gabby Jesus started, and he's only just coming back. I think he made the right change. I don't have a problem with the 11.
Oh, absolutely.
I don't really have much of a problem. Some injuries were forced on him. Changes were forced on him because of injury. We've got to talk about that as well. It's been a really bad night. I do think what I'd say about Arteta, though, is the guy has had 3 really humiliating exits from the Europa League.
Yeah.
Draws a blank at home to Villarreal, having lost the first leg, goes out. No fans in the ground. Couldn't overcome with just purely the players he had. And I think he'd been in the job longer than Unai Emery at that time as well. Goes out to Olympiacos because of a late free kick.
Yeah.
Goes out to now Sporting tonight. That's 3 really bad exits. Dare I say, I think his performances in cups has actually been really poor since the FA Cup win.
Yeah, minus the FA Cup, but
won the FA Cup, amazing. I'm not here to play down that at all. That is unbelievable. And what he did, that wasn't just a fluke. He showed real tactical quality, you know, to get through Man City and Chelsea in the way he did and the way he set up. But you look at the exits since then: Southampton in the FA Cup, Forest in the FA Cup, Brighton the Carabao Cup this season, Man City 1-0, kind of not at their best, go out the FA Cup again. Last season, you know, we get the draw at Anfield and then we lose again at home. Another two-legged affair, we lose it at home in the Carabao Cup. He doesn't seem capable. He's going to need to learn how to navigate that in the Champions League, because you'd like to think we'll get through the group, and you've got to be able to. And there are some managers that are experts at navigating that situation. Ancelotti, Rafa Benitez, they're good over two legs. They kind of know what they're doing, and maybe that's just something Arteta needs to work on. And you might be asking the question, well, what is that? Surely it's just winning games of football. But I think there's ways to play in Europe over two legs. And when I look at how we played in that second half in particular, I mean, we looked awful. That second half, we did absolutely nothing.
Nada. Sorry. And I'm almost lost for words, James. I really am.
No, I hear that.
I didn't expect to go out this early. And I didn't expect to go out in the manner that we did. I really don't.
I wanted us to take this seriously, you know. I'm just saving some comments and super chats.
But this was I felt awkward in this situation, because it was a case of I was always going to be devastated if we went out, but at least we can focus on the league. Whereas if we stayed in the competition, it takes a little bit of focus, even if only 1%, it takes a little bit of focus off the league. So it's a really awkward situation to be in, where regardless of the result, you're going to feel disheartened in some way, I think.
No, I think I want us to go through. I've always stated, I'm not going to go back on it now, that it's a benefit to go through. I think to have something else to focus on, I think, is good for the players. Look, are they going to get more rest? Sure. Are they going to play fewer games than City? Well, City already have 3 more games than us by having 2 Champions League ties and an FA Cup tie, so that's 3 more. I hear that, but. And actually, what's funny is we'll be on 10 games left after this weekend. They'll be on 11 plus those 3. If they go through the Champions League, that 14 becomes 16. So they could have 16 games left. In fact, I'd back them to have, and then they could have 17 more games. So, you know, I kind of hear that could be a factor, sure. But I think we just got to focus on the here and now and the tonight, and the being knocked out by Sporting Lisbon. Now, Sporting did well tonight. Sporting did well. I'll give them credit. And I was having this debate with Cass, one of our colleagues here. If you didn't know who the 2 teams were and you knew nothing about the season they were having, and you looked purely at the chances created in that game, we still created enough chances, which is why I'm sort of looking at the players, you know, like Trossard. You know, those clutch moments in front of goal, not good enough. Ramsdale on penalties, not good enough. Gabriel, I'm going to say, in fairness, played brilliantly and actually forced 2 really good saves out of Adan. You know, offside on so many occasions. Jesus wins a penalty if Nelson, I think it is, holds the line. So many times we were offside, and you know, I think Arsenal then got into a rhythm at the end of the game. Once we had our best players on the pitch, we went, oh yeah, we could score here. I promise you, and they're so silly because we had so many minutes on the pitch, but if that team that ended the game started the game, we win it. I'm really sure we win this match. So I'm just disappointed at how much our level dropped off, and how we couldn't get into it in the second half. And ultimately, Arteta's then scrambling to get on the familiar faces. It's
a really awkward situation. It's a really tough one to take. My concern going forward now is there was a lot of first team players in that squad today that played. You know, you look at Martinelli, who played a full 120 minutes.
And missed a
penalty. So
and he didn't deserve that, poor guy.
No, of course. And the thing is, I always hate it when it's the younger players that miss the penalties, because it affects them for a very long time.
I hate it when it's the players that played really well, because that's all he'll remember. And actually, his work rate was phenomenal. He didn't do as much in the final third as I'd have liked, but his work rate was unbelievable. He kept trying, man.
No, absolutely. But it's just gutting that it had to be him, because these young players, obviously, they get a lot of stick for missing penalties like this, and it affects them in some cases, it affects them for their entire career. Thankfully, I don't want to say it was only around a 16 tie, but it's not like Saka's situation where it was in a Euro final.
Yeah, it was awful.
So he's got a lot of time to come back from this, and I really do hope he responds in a positive way. But like I said, 120 minutes played today, he missed the penalty. are we in a position where we can start him against Palace after playing that? Because I think we gave ourselves an unnecessary extra 30 minutes today.
Well, I think what would be interesting is if he does something like Trossard on the left and Jesus up top.
I think he'll have to now.
Knowing that Jesus is fit.
Yeah.
I think, funnily enough, he played 45 minutes, and yet I think Jesus looked, if you were making a list of men of the match for Arsenal, I think he'd be up there.
Yeah.
I think he'd be up there with Rob Holding, Gabriel.
Who would you choose as your man of the match? Because if you had to pick one,
I don't think I can. I think I can only pick players that played well. I don't think anyone came out where I'm like, man of the match for Arsenal, because then I thought Odegaard had a really good impact, but he obviously only played 20 minutes. I thought Jorginho actually did really well
in the time
he was on, and people were tweeting me going, no, he didn't. What are you watching? What did you want him to do? He was winning. He's breaking up play, and he created the first goal for us. We forget that he made that happen. I thought Xhaka did well till the second half. I thought Gabriel and Holding really stood up where the team around them were crumbling. I don't think Zinchenko did anything really today at all.
Nope.
I think this was one of those games where you could have gone for Tierney just for some width and something else. But again, got Dave Jordan in the comments saying that Tierney's this, Tierney's that. And look, I just think at this point, trying different things sometimes is a good thing.
Do you have any comments on the Tierney situation? Because no matter what he does, he can't seem to get any minutes in this Arsenal squad.
I just think he's just set in his ways, Arteta, and he's going with his strongest left back, which I can understand to a degree. And look, largely, we've been brilliant when Zinchenko's in the team, so it is what it is. Let's talk about the goals a little bit for a second. Okay, Jorginho, brilliant pass. Then it comes out after the save and Xhaka puts it away. I'm really disappointed Arsenal didn't kick on from that point. I think for 5 minutes we looked a little dangerous, but then we didn't really do anything. That was really poor. I thought then their goal... This is what I want to say. Did Sporting deserve to go through? I think yes, they did deserve to go through
100%.
because I thought they looked like they were handling the occasion far better than us, and they were playing much nearer to what I'd expect of Sporting than Arsenal did to what I'd expect of Arsenal. But what I would say is, apart from that Edwards chance, I don't think Ramsdale actually had. I don't think he had to do much. That is what's disappointing. That then when we were on the ball, we actually were creating some stuff. Even if it was just set piece spamming, we were able to kind of apply some pressure on their goal when we would have 5-10 minutes, or we rarely even had that of a spell. And that goal from Gonçalves is just an absolute moment of
I think you said
magic.
I think you said it. It might have been on or off camera, but it's not even a chance.
No, it's not a chance. You're right.
It's not a chance. But that, and I'm not going to take any credit away from it, that's a Puskás contender goal.
Oh, of course, yeah.
And I feel awful for Ramsdale in this situation because he's not technically done anything wrong. Because as a keeper, the second your defensive line pushes up, you also have to push up to sort of cover the space and act as a sweeper. If you stay on your line and you've got that much space in behind, that's a one-on-one and you're not always going to win that. So I feel terrible for Ramsdale in this situation.
I don't blame Ramsdale as well, because Arsenal had control of the ball in midfield of that part, and then Jorginho and Xhaka, I think it's more Xhaka, make a mess of it, and then he goes for the effort. And I'm with you. At first I thought, oh come on, it's so embarrassing when you're caught off your line like that, but you're right. One slip pass in behind, if Ramsdale's not there to deal with it, they're bearing down on goal. If you're going on percentages, there is more chance that they score if Ramsdale stays on his line than if he's off it, if that makes sense, because of how the play might develop. But yeah, I will say though, don't blame Ramsdale on the goal. Massive save, stood up, took it to the chin when Edwards was through. But my word, I have to say he was poor on those penalties. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I think it's the Ignacio one where he gets a hand to it. You've really got to have a stronger hand there, especially as a professional. I think you get criticised for that at Sunday League level, alone as a professional level.
But he got... Listen, you can get beaten by not great penalties, right? Because there's an element of guess. I'll give you an example. I don't think Saka actually drilled it into the corner. I think he just went the right side, so it looks comfortable, but really the keeper guesses the right way, they got a chance. So that can happen sometimes. Whether he gave him the eyes or not, I don't know. But Ramsdale, the first one he should have saved, he kind of stayed rooted to the shot and didn't react till after. So actually he kind of got fairly close but didn't save it. The Ignacio one, you're right, he guesses the right way, but it's not strong enough hand. That's not good enough.
That's goalkeeping. The thing that annoys me about that's goalkeeping one-on-one goalkeeping.
And then the one before the Martinelli one, the players just kind of not rolled it, but he's kind of put it quite low. I guess when you go low, you're always asking the goalkeeper to do a lot of work. But it's not You know what I mean? He's kind of got there. He's kind of thrown his hand over it. It was just. I've got to be honest. It just all looked very flimsy and very. And listen, I am not Emi Martinez's fan. Trust me. And I love Ramsdale, and I think he's a better goalkeeper. And I honestly mean that. But Martinez at the World Cup had a degree of authority. I am powering towards this ball, and even if I go the wrong way, at least if I do, keeping that thing out. And I think that is the difference, I think, on the pens. Maybe I'm being too harsh. You know, some people are saying, guys, it's Europa. We're gonna explore that thing in a second as well.
It's not just Europa. It's a trophy to be won, and it's a trophy that we've not won. Well, since it's been the Europa League, it's a trophy that we should want to be winning. This is Champions League qualification at the end of the day. And I know we're probably going to get it through the league anyways, but that's more than enough incentive to win the trophy.
I think just the fact that it's a trophy. I think just the fact that it's a European trophy. Yeah. And this is another thing. We've criticised some of the players today. We've criticised Mikel Arteta for his record in Europe, but Arsenal's record in Europe is absolutely abysmal. And the time that I've been watching Arsenal, I've seen us knocked out to PSV, Monaco, embarrassed by Bayern Munich,
multiple times,
Olympiacos, Sporting tonight, Villarreal, you know, some really, really horrible, and AC Milan side that weren't that good, 4-0 down in the first leg. We are a joke in Europe. Let's be honest, a club the size of Arsenal, a club that has achieved so much in football and has won European trophies, that is an absolutely horrendous record. And you know what? Arteta does have to address it, because the one thing I'd say is people talk about Jurgen Klopp and, you know, he got all these points tallies and he's only got one Premier League to show for it. Sure, but he's got an FA Cup, a Carabao Cup and a Champions League as well. In an era in which Man City clean up so much, Chelsea have won trophies, Liverpool and Klopp have also won other trophies, even when they've got so close elsewhere. So look, it's no guarantee we win the Premier League. We've got a lot of work to do.
Of course.
But we've got to start getting better in the Cups as well. And look, it's all a journey, it's all a process. I understand he's still building a squad to a degree, I hear that. But it's got to get better. This group of players have not been able to do it in the Cups. And this club hasn't done it in Europe for a very long time.
Yeah, it's not good enough. And it's definitely something that needs to change going forward. You know, with finally looks like we're going to be back in the Champions League. It will take a miracle for us to not get Champions League at this stage. And if this is anything, if the last few years in the Europa League is anything to go off of, you know, maybe we're not. I don't want to sound. This is going to sound really negative, but I know what I mean. I'm just hoping everyone else knows what I mean. Maybe we're not ready to compete at a Champions League level if we're getting knocked out this early in the Europa League.
No, I think the one thing I'd say, and where I think the Champions League would be different, in fairness, is the Europa League. There's always a slight expectation of we will rotate to a degree, or we will look to rest certain players or whatever. Look, Saka didn't play today. That tells you what you need. That tells you what you need to know. Ramsdale didn't start the away leg. Gabriel didn't start the away leg. A lot of these things tell you what you need to know. But you know, if we're playing a Champions League tie, I believe we go full strength, but only the squad's got to be ready, and we've got to be going into against Bournemouth, where he brought in Vieira for the game, and Vieira, you know, we were 1-0 down, then we kind of struggled to really get into it. With that, you know, we got to be able to make rotations, and Arsenal still play well. Man City can play Foden or Mahrez. I know that they're in a different stratosphere in terms of some of the depth that they've had over the years, and I hear that, but you know, we've got to get there. We've got to get to something near that if we're to compete in the Champions League, I think.
No, absolutely. Absolutely.
Not just so that we can play those players in the Champions League, but so that the Premier League 11 can get more rest when needed.
Absolutely. And I think we're slowly starting getting better at that. You know, you look at the strength in depth that we had last year compared to this year, it's improved massively. And I think with a few more transfer windows, I'm not saying we're going to get to the same level as C, but the strength in depth is always going to continue improving, and we're going to have better we're going to have better squads in these FA Cup games, in the Carabao Cup games, in the Europa League games. I mean, hopefully not Europa League. I don't want to ever be in this competition again. But yeah, ultimately my point is the strength in depth will come. It's definitely improving from where we was previously.
Yeah, it has improved.
And it was just a case of just showing a little bit of patience, I suppose.
Right, let's go through some super chats and then we'll go through your calls. Let's get super chats up, see what people have been saying. When did that come through? That was earlier. Apologies. I'm just making sure I've got all the right ones. Yeah, here we go. Okay, so Gary says, need to stop starting knockout matches with squad players and hoping first teamers can bail us out. Start with the first teamers, end them and sub off.
I'd agree with him generally, but obviously we didn't. That wasn't the case today. We fielded a fairly strong team. Where we went wrong in this tie is how weak the squad was when we went to Lisbon. That's where we've gone wrong here.
But let me throw someone else out there, yeah?
Yeah.
That first half, yeah, they had some openings and stuff, but they didn't have a shot on target. Whereas Jesus did force a save out of a Dan. Like, we could have had other goals.
Yeah.
Like, we were an offside from winning a penalty. We did get that first goal. We were 1-0 up. Like, there was a lot about that first half that was quite comfortable. And if we just raised it, those players were out there doing that.
Yeah.
So I'm confused as to why. Like, this is why for me it's more on the players, because Arteta didn't get everything right. I hear that, but. Come on, they were out there. They should have been better than this.
No,
unless Arteta told them to sit back and try and protect what they had, then it's difficult to then get yourself back in a rhythm. But I don't know, man. I don't know. It's a difficult one. I think we had enough out there throughout the game, not just when the subs were made. Mark says, feels like a reality check. Can we win the league? Marco, of course we can. I'll tell you why we can. Because for how many games have we played in the league this season? 27? For 24 of those, we have looked the best team in the league, in the country. Look what we did to Fulham. And I promise you, I thought Fulham was going to be a bigger test than Sporting at home. I really did. No disrespect to Sporting. That's the level and quality the Premier League has. And how well Fulham have done this year. So of course we can win it. But I'm just disappointed that I think it's just going to turn the heat up on the players now. Maybe it focuses them more. Maybe it does. People have said that. You've said that. Maybe it focuses them more. I think it strains them more, if I'm honest.
Do you mean sort of like puts a negative effect on the squad?
Yeah, I think now.
I hope you're wrong.
I think now they're going to Palace going, we have to win.
We can.
And I know they had to anyway.
Subject to City's results, we can afford to lose one more game out of this 11. And if we lose one game, we're immediately under pressure. But we can realistically, hypothetically speaking, if City win all of their games up to the end of the season, we could, with 5 points clear, we can only lose one more game before it starts becoming a serious issue.
I'm stressed now. But there are some positive super chats, which I'll go through in a sec. Karthik says, big up guys, if Arsenal don't win the league and Spurs get top 4, what is the difference between the seasons for respective clubs? Karthik, I sort of hear what you're saying, but what I say is, you can see the strides Arsenal have taken. Let's not just pretend that progress and stuff doesn't matter. What I would say, though, is if we finish second and Man United finish third or fourth, they've had a better season because they've won silverware. They've won a trophy. And I'm not going to be a hypocrite because you flip that to lockdown where they finished third. We finished, I think they finished third or second. We finished 8th and we won the FA Cup. They did nothing in the Champions League the year after
Silverware.
We won the FA Cup. We had a better season. Silverware matters. It matters. So I'm not going to do the whole, well, the Europa's just this competition and it doesn't matter. We don't care. No, it does matter. It's silverware. And with our record in Europe, we have no right to be snobs about the Europa League. Devanshu says, wow, Vieira in midfield was bad. I thought he had a good first half, or a decent first half. We were not serious today. Passive after one goal we scored. I smell the crumble in matches against Liverpool, City and Chelsea. Disagree. I think we'll be more focused if I'm honest, but I kind of hear a lot of that. Ricky says, James, we need to consider our best players were on when Sporting first team players were wearing out. We definitely would have played better. We did, extra time. We were the better team. We were, but who cares?
Too little,
because
too late.
we're way too late. Big Ash says, so depressing to listen to you guys. Cheer up, we're only at the beginning. Europa is a second string trophy and now we can focus on the Premier League. Ash, I kind of hear that, and I know that the Europa, this is the competition that we were all gutted to be in at the end of last season. I hear that too. We were gutted when we lost to Tottenham and Newcastle because we didn't want to be in this competition, and I hear that. But then you've got to look at the cards you've been dealt, or the situation that you've been left with through either your fault or not. And then you just got to go for it. And we've been really disappointing in Europe. Emery got us to the final, Wenger got us to the semis. This is the Europa League, by the way.
I don't agree with this whole talk about second string trophy, because at the end of the day, a trophy is a trophy. There are teams that would pay for a trophy and have got the dustiest trophy cabinets in the world. Not going to mention any names there. I don't agree with this second string trophy. It's a trophy that we've not won, or at least since it's been renamed, and it's silverware. We should be wanting to win every single available trophy that we're in.
Yeah, I agree. Listen, that's how Guardiola treats things.
Exactly.
All of you laugh at the Carabao Cup, yeah? He won 4 in a row. He's also challenging for Premier Leagues, Champions League, winning Premier Leagues. He's won 4 of the last 5 Premier Leagues. So I don't. When Man United won the Carabao Cup, I didn't do the whole, yeah, well, you know, whatever, it's the Carabao. And now we're knocked out the Europa. I'm not going to pretend it doesn't matter. But I'm also not going to act like it's the end of the world. It's not the end of the world. It's what's to be positive about. Here we go, Jonas. James is an undercover United fanboy. Whatever. If that made you happy.
Moving
that
on
made you happy.
yeah.
Let's go into... Oh, I can hear myself. Let's go into some calls. Let's go into some calls. I can hear Joe on production.
So
who have we got?
Kian first.
Kian.
Hi,
Welcome,
Kian.
Disappointing,
Hey guys,
Kian.
I'm very, very frustrating. I think.
Yeah, I can't hear Kian. It's not coming through. Unfortunately,
hear?
Joe on production. No, I'm sorry. Oh, Kian can hear us. Sorry, Kian, it's not coming through. Not really sure why. Yeah, no,
Fair
nothing's
enough.
coming through. It's audio on our end because clearly Kian can hear us.
Yeah.
Apologies. Do we know what's going on, Joe? I'm not sure Joe can hear us. And no one can hear us. Well, no, you can hear us. We can't hear you. It's a bit of a mess.
Yeah.
Can you hear?
No, Joe, I can hear you, but I can't hear Kian.
Try now.
Hello, Kian. Say something now.
Can you hear
Have
me?
you made a change?
Can you hear me now?
No, still nothing. Still nothing coming through. Oh, sorry, Kian.
Hold on.
No worries.
We're just waiting for Joe to sort something out.
Kian, while Joe's sorting that out, just a quick thumbs up or down. Thoughts on the performance?
Yeah. Oh, I wonder what he was going to do there. Yeah, no. I sort of expected that. Okay. They're going to cut. Okay, so they've cut back to us. Kian, we'll try and get back to you in a sec. Okay. Pratish says that they can hear both of us. Okay, so it's just us that can't hear Kian, which is kind of important. Apologies.
The beauties of live content, guys. Beauties of live content.
I'm frustrated, but I am quickly getting over it. That's not to say that I'm playing it down. I'm kind of ready to just think Premier League now.
Yeah, and this is why I think it's such a weird situation. Because in any other season, that team would be heartbroken about something like this. But because of the fact we've I don't want to say it, but overachieved in the league.
We're doing more than people expected.
We've done much more than people have expected. I think that's what sort of takes away from the pain of it. Because if we get knocked out a couple of seasons ago when we were back in it, was that the semi-final one? It was the Olympiacos one. That was painful. What was it?
Olympiacos was painful. Villarreal was painful.
What was the most recent one? Was it the Villarreal one? So the Villarreal one was a proper arrow in the heart, dagger in the heart.
Yeah.
But it just doesn't feel that bad. Obviously, it's still horrible. It's still sad that we're out of the competition, but it doesn't feel that bad.
Just I honestly don't know. Apologies. I know we're not giving you particularly great analysis from my part here. Someone called Gonzalo Inacio is in the chat. Have we got any callers? Have we got the audio working? I'm hearing production from not here saying, "Can you hear me?" We can't hear you here. If they can hear us. What is going on? If Turner had that Ramsdale performance, the fans would be using him as the scapegoat. Owen, not for his.
Can you hear me, James?
Yes, can hear production now. Yeah.
Right, let's try Charlie.
Okay, we're going to try Charlie now. Apparently, let's bring Charlie in.
Hi, Charlie.
How's it going? You alright?
No, we can't hear Charlie.
Can you hear me? Hello?
We can't hear Charlie. Apologies, everyone, for this.
Hold on.
We're going to try something else. No, still can't hear Charlie. Apologies to everyone as well on fans only waiting. We are going to try and persist with this, of course. We want to get your thoughts. Okay, now it could be working
hear me now?
Charlie, say something.
Hello?
No, nothing's coming through.
Can you hear me now?
Cut back and I'm going to try and get everyone on.
Okay, they're going to cut away from us.
Bit of a strange situation there. I want to go back to that comment that was made about Turner. I think the comment was if Turner had that Ramsdale performance, he would have been slated a little bit. I don't think Ramsdale played that bad until it went to the penalty shootout. He made he made a few important saves in the game. It's only when it gets to the penalties, again, we've mentioned this, he gets caught off his line, but it's not even...
I'm with you.
It's not a chance.
I'm with you. I don't think you can blame him on the goal.
Yeah.
It's an unbelievable goal.
In all fairness, you can give him all the stick you want to give him for the penalties, but across the 120 minutes, I don't think you can give much blame to Aaron Ramsdale there.
No, I agree. I don't think you can. I think you can... I think that we touched on the penalties. Let's touch on the performance and why we don't think we were that good. Do you think Arsenal were trying to sit on their lead? Here's Tony, actually, great timing on the super chat. Says we were complacent. No more underestimating team, strongest team possible from here on out. I mean,
I think that's the full situation. The reason I was so kind of desperate to get through is, if we get through to this game, I would have wanted a team like a Juventus or a Manchester United, where we're not going to be complacent. Yeah. I think the sole reason we've come out of this competition is because we've underestimated a team because they're not in one of Europe's top 5 leagues. Sporting Lisbon are a very, very good football club. Admittedly, not having the best of seasons, but generally are a quality football club. And we've just not identified that. We've been a little bit... What's the word? I've lost the word. We've just underestimated them, basically, and it's silly. It's really silly.
Some people are talking about it being a positive. Not for me. I'm just reading what people are saying. Some people are saying European competition mentality needs to be studied throughout the years. Even at our best moments, we can't overcome difficulties. That was Eduardo Hagen tweeting that. European pedigree is a real thing, says Jacinho.
It is.
Jessica, I think she's absolutely right. Mikel Arteta on the loss. There's a huge blow, obviously. There were moments in the first 75 minutes where we weren't at our level. We gave every ball away and we didn't have the capacity to take the game. There were chances to win it in extra time. There was a lot of uncertainty with pens. Let me remind everyone of something, right? At the start of Klopp's kind of era with Liverpool and everything, they didn't win the Europa League, but they got to the final. They knocked out a very good Dortmund team at the time. They rose to the European occasion. And then they tied themselves up in the league and got there. Now, we might do it the other way. We've had a real, as Turkish would call, bang. Well, not what Turkish would call, he likes to reference what Arteta said. We've had a bang in the Europa League, in the Premier League, where we've kind of gone from 5th to suddenly we look like we're really challenging for the title. In fact, we're leading the race and we're top. So we might go the other way. We might learn how to deal with Europe after.
Yeah.
But, we do need to... We can't just brush this off as, whatever. Blessing in disguise. Well, it's fine. No, we should have beaten Sporting. Over 2 legs, we didn't score more goals than them. In 120 plus 90, in 210 minutes of football, we did not score more goals than Sporting. And this is the best Arsenal have looked since the Invincibles.
It's crazy to say.
It's not good enough.
Crazy.
And even we got knocked out to Olympiacos. I remember at that time, that was a bit out of the blue. We were in a good place. We won 1-0 at their place in the first leg. We were doing okay. Then when we lost to Villarreal again, we were having a little bit of a slightly resurgent second half of the season. It wasn't great. We still finished 8th, but it was better than what we'd seen in the first half. So there's got to be questions about that. We'll go through some more super chats. Apologies, everyone. We are trying to fix Fan Zone, so we can get your thoughts. Big Ash says the big element tonight was the Saliba injury. Once our players saw that, they said thanks, but no thanks. We'll focus on the league. Listen, I'm not sure I agree with that.
I sure hope not. I really do hope not.
No, I don't think it was that. I don't think it was that at all. Here we go. What have we got? Some people saying that, obviously if we would have taken this situation, at the start of the season, being out of the cups, but 5 points clear at this, in March. I hear that. James Bench says no sign of any strapping as Saliba makes his way out the dressing room.
That's good news. That is good news.
So Tomiyasu is on crutches though.
See, I was always, you look at the two injuries, and obviously we didn't really see much of Saliba's on camera, but I sort of looked at Tomiyasu's one, and it does look bad the way he goes down. He goes into a split, and it doesn't seem very natural. It's just, if he's out on crutches, obviously that's a big concern, and it looks like he's going to be out for at least a few weeks if he's on crutches.
I just realised. Don't ask me why this has jumped into my head. If City win the league and the FA Cup, which is very possible, and we finish second, which you think is the least we can do right now, we'd play in the
Community Shield. I knew it was coming. Yeah.
I gotta say, with all due respect, I don't think there's anything more embarrassing than playing in the Community Shield where you haven't won one of the trophies.
Literally on a technicality.
You see, I'm a defender of the Community Shield. What I mean by that is, no, I don't think it's the biggest trophy of all time, but
it's still a trophy.
If people say to me, do you want to win the Community Shield? I go, yes, because I would have had to have won something to be there.
This is the point we're making. Silverware is silverware, as long as it's not an Audi Cup, obviously, but... Yeah. The Community Shield is still a trophy that everyone wants. People should want to win. People should want to win a Community Shield. It's a trophy.
This is so disappointing. Zach Lowy puts perfectly. Says the fourth place team in Portugal just knocked out the first place team in the Premier League in their own stadium. They did so with 2-star Son available and their top scorer leaving the game with an injury. Put some respect on Portuguese football, and I think, I give respect to Sporting Lisbon, the way they approached the game. And they had a lot of spells with possession. They outshot us, as you can see by the stats there. They had lots of chances. They could have won that first leg. I think we could have won that first leg too, don't get me wrong. And where it's just kind of left me is sort of thinking that, as bad, this is where I take a little bit of hope. I know what the comment section are going to say, but oh well. The one thing I'll say is, there was as bad as we were, there were still chances to win that game. There really were. So if Arsenal can just rise above that for Palace, we'll beat Palace. If we can just dust this off. Arteta's almost got to, apologies, hiccups. He's got to give them the hairdryer treatment, whilst reminding them at the end, you can still create chances when you're not playing at your best.
Yeah.
Should we see if there's callers ready? I heard something coming out of the headphones. I can hear myself really loud. Actually, that's okay. I can't believe Kim Kardashian was at the Emirates. Okay, we're going to give it a go.
Fingers crossed.
Very, very loud in my ear, but that's fine. Okay, that's quieter.
Yes, we can hear you.
Who have we got?
Can you hear me, yeah?
Yes.
Alright. So we're going to try and get Kian back.
Kian, let's try and get Kian back.
Hello again, Kian.
Hold on.
I can't even see him on screen.
Hello,
Kian.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. It's about the best news.
Hallelujah.
Kian, take it away.
Gutted with the performance. When I was watching the game, I expected us to have a better performance, really, than what we put out. The one question I have, which I thought I'd ask you first, is what's your opinion on the whole Emile Smith-Rowe situation?
Oh, he didn't get any minutes today.
No.
And that's like 2 or 3 games now he's not getting minutes. Is he in the same boat as Tierney now, where maybe he's closer to the exit rather than first team football?
I'm going to say something. This might sound really harsh on the players, right? Because I know it's injuries. I know it's not their fault. They're not out, doing things they shouldn't. They're not playing terribly. They're not getting themselves suspended. It is injuries, right? And I hear that.
Yeah.
But availability is a thing, whether it's unfortunate or not. Availability, that trust that a manager needs to depend on you to build. If you're going to build a team that's going to win the league, then you've got to depend on the players that are going out there. Now, in fairness, there was no moment in that game where I was really screaming for Tierney and Smith-Rowe to come on, so I can't say that Arteta's had an absolute shocker. Zinchenko lasted the 120 minutes, but then Jesus can't play the full 90. Trossard's got to come on. Vieira wasn't playing well. He was playing worse than Zinchenko, so Ødegaard's got to come on. And then Saka, Partey, they've got to come on. So I don't really see how he could have, gone for Tierney today, or really Smith-Rowe. But at the same time, I think they've got to hold this for a bit. You haven't been available. You've had injuries. You've both had prolonged spells on the touchline. So it's just going to take time to earn that trust back from Arteta. Not trust back, sorry, but just to build your way back in the pecking order, in my opinion. They're just going to have to take it.
No, I agree with you. I think it's just frustrating as a fan when you know how good Smith Rowe was for us last year and how many goals he scored. And I think he's given me the kind of vibes of like Jack Wilshere. He's a great player, but he's constantly injured.
Yeah, and I will say though, in fairness, he spent most of last season fit. But I know what you mean, and it was one prolonged injury and then a small setback. So look, hopefully it's nothing serious. But look, how's this left you with the title chase?
It's a game by game situation. I think, as you've said there, one loss really is all we can really deal with at the moment, because we don't know how Man City will perform for the rest of the season. It's great maybe in the fact that we're not playing as many games as them, but the sheer focus now is to get that silverware, because I think that's what's going to be the difference between the end of the season and it being a successful season maybe, and not being as successful as we thought it could have been halfway through the season.
No, I hear you. Yeah, Cian, it's been a pleasure getting your thoughts. I've just got some comments here I'm going to go through, but Cian, thank you so much for joining us.
No problem. Cheers, guys. Sorry
I sound super deflated. Really legit says, come on, James, Smith Rowe's better than Vieira. Not in recent appearances. I'm not look, he's getting up to scratch. I feel for Smith Rowe. Trust me, I say all of that. But no, Vieira's looked bright in his appearances. He's done well.
Yeah,
that's not fair to say, you know, oh, he didn't play well today, therefore Smith Rowe should have started, or Smith Rowe should have come on. I'm telling you now, if he turns to Smith Rowe over Odegaard, there's uproar. So I don't think we should look too much into the subs thing.
I think Smith Rowe's main problem is that while he was out injured, you had so many different players in the positions that he plays, which is in the middle of the park and on the wing, that started performing
Martinelli,
well.
Trossard,
Nelson, Vieira when he came in. Odegaard was playing unbelievable in the 10 role. You had Jorginho come in and do a job when there's so many players in his positions, and I feel so unfortunate for him because it's not his fault he got injured, which is why I don't think we're going to see much more of Emile Smith Rowe this season. You know, I think he's going to come off the bench every now and then. Maybe he gets a chance against Crystal Palace with the fact that Martinelli might not be starting that game now.
James,
I think it's a good chance.
Apparently there's an echo, so I need to somehow turn it down. I don't even know how to turn it down. Oh, okay, Frank's on it. Frank is on it, okay.
The IT guy's in the building.
Oh, perfect, but that might be too quiet. I don't know if we're going to be able to then hear what's coming through there, so we have to turn it up slightly. Poor Frank.
How's that?
Alright. I think that might be... No, that's still very loud. Sorry, guys, we're literally doing tech work on stream. I really... sorry about that. I think that might be better.
Yep,
hopefully that's... Yeah, I think that is better. I think that's sorted. Alright, what we're going to do last 50 minutes of the show, we're just going to fly through some... fan zone. I'm having a mental block. Some fans on fan zone, get your thoughts. And the question to everyone is, how disappointed are you? How do you think this leaves us with the Premier League chase? So who have we got next to join us?
We got Charlie.
Charlie. Let's bring in Charlie.
Hi, Charlie.
Charlie, how you doing?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, all
Can
good.
you hear me?
All good. Can you hear us?
Yeah, so, yeah, I can hear you. Obviously, I'm disappointed, but at the end of the day, the way you got to look at it is, we've made changes, and Arteta's never trusted the players that he's had before to make them changes. So we can't blame changes, because if he would have played part A in other players and they would have got injured, we'd have all said, why have you chanced them when we can win the league? So to have a squad, you need to trust in the players. Go on.
No, sorry, carry on, apologies.
Go on, James.
Oh, sorry, I think
No, all I was saying was, so if anything,
lagging
it can you hear me?
Yeah, you carry on. It's lagging a bit. Apologies.
Can you hear
So
me?
we keep crossing each other. So you just carry on. Finish your point. Apologies, Charlie. Go on.
Yeah, so all I was going to say, it's more now of a positive, because now Arteta's making changes that he believes that he can trust in the players, when before he never did. You know, and we would all sit there going, why is he taking so long to make a change? And he never did. but now he's doing it. So we can't really go, well, why has he done that? Because if Partey or other players would have got injured playing him every game, he shouldn't have done that. He should have played this player or that player, you know?
Yeah, Frank, I mean, the first half was a tale of Arsenal fans saying, Tomiyasu's gone injured, Saliba's gone off injured, this is why we shouldn't be playing our best players. And then by the end of the game, because we're knocked out, everyone's saying we should have gone with our best players. So Charlie's absolutely right.
No, I completely agree. And when you get to the knockout stages of these competitions, you have got to start playing your best players. You can afford to rotate a bit more in the group stages, but once it gets to crunch time, you've got to be fielding your best players.
Yeah. Final word from you, Charlie, and you can chat about the Premier League, whatever it is that's on your mind.
Well, I believe we can still win it, because in there he's still going to go strong. But if anything, the injuries that we've had tonight, it's been more of a negative because we've lost. If we'd have won, you'd have gone, you know what, it's okay that they've got injured because we've still won. But now that we've lost, it's now a double blow because we've lost injuries and lost the game, you know?
Yeah, I hear that. Charlie, pleasure chatting to you. Thank
Charlie.
you. Who have we got next? Who else is going to join us? Oh, bless, I don't think. We have Dylan. Dylan's joining us.
Hi, Dylan.
Dylan, talk to us.
Hey guys.
What are your thoughts?
Disappointed. Really
Yeah, I hear
disappointed
that.
that we've gone out. It's a trophy that we really needed, especially because we don't have any European history. But again, Sporting deserved it. They played better both legs, I'd say. Because if you
It's all happening to... Oh, there we go, we're back. Carry on, Dylan. Sorry, it cut out. Carry on.
if you look at all the other results in the round of 16, the teams that won by a big margin, and we are here drawing 3-3. So I feel like we could have played better, especially players like Vieira. And I know what you guys said about Martinelli. I agree. His work rate was really good. But I think in the final third, him and Vieira needs to show a lot more if they want to, especially Vieira, to start in the Premier League.
Are you talking quality? Are you talking cutting edge, finesse, quality?
Yeah, quality. Because you saw how big of a difference it made when Odegaard came in for Vieira. The chances he creates. I think Vieira needs to do a lot more, and Martinelli has been so good for us. But I don't think he had a good game in the final third today.
I hear that. He worked really hard, but yeah, I hear what you're saying.
Yeah, he did.
And quickly, are we winning the league?
Yeah, we are winning the league, because if we don't win the league, this has been such an amazing season for us. And to finish the season without silverware would be really, really disappointing. So we have to win the league, and we will win the league.
Fair enough. Dylan, pleasure chatting to you.
Thank you.
Let me read this out to you, Frank. I want to get your take on this. And let me give you a spoiler alert. I don't actually like these quotes. So Mikel Arteta after the game: just look at ourselves and what we have done. We weren't good enough to go through. Congratulations, Sporting. Now we have 11 games, and the first game is Palace, which is a final. He then goes, and every word that we say right now has to be towards Palace. Be better than today to win the game. What do you make of those quotes?
I think he's absolutely correct. I think every game until the end of the season has to be considered the final. That mentality is the only way we're going to get this Premier League title over the line. So I completely agree with Mikel there. You know, we talk about Arsenal being the mentality monsters, and I completely misquoted what I wanted to say earlier when I said this is the ultimate test about going through penalties. This now is the ultimate test to show the mentality and bounce back from such a disappointing result, seeing out the rest of the season. There's still 11 games, doesn't sound like a lot, but there's still 33 points to be won in this Premier League season. That's a massive amount of points. How many points are we on in the league? 67. That could make us if we win 11 games.
Now.
If we win 11 games, we're Centurions.
No, we can't. I think we can hit 99 at best.
Okay, maybe not then. That's just my terrible math.
We miss it by a point, but I hear your point. Jazema showing that he didn't listen to anything I said, saying, James, stop talking about football if you think Vieira is better than Smith Rowe in any way. No, I was just talking about recent form and injuries and explaining why he wouldn't have come on. There's another super chat. Someone's not happy with me about something else.
I'm starting to sense a pattern here, James.
Yeah. Rye says, guys, I can't stress how deflated I am right now, but I hate to say, if Arsenal don't win the league, then it's a long summer for all of us. Palace, just like every Premier League game, is a must-win now. I don't know. I think we're doing too much by saying if we don't win the league, it's a long summer. It's disappointing. This season, the way we played, it deserves silverware. But sometimes you have a great season, you don't get silverware. It can just happen. The leaps and jumps we've made this season has been extraordinary. I want us to win the league. I think we can win the league. It'll be incredibly disappointing if we don't win the league. But it's not, it's a season to be absolutely ashamed and embarrassed by. It'll be a massive step forward. The Champions League will return next year. We go again. Spend wise in the summer. Go again. Football. The beauty of football. And it goes back to that ad that comedian did. I can't remember his name. You know, that ad, the fake BBC ad of the football never stops. And he's right. There's always more football, and I think this idea that it's kind of an absolute disaster if we don't win anything now, I think that's overblown personally. Idris says, James, I disagree with you. An injured Emil Smith Rowe is better than Vieira. Emil just needs a run of games. Very, very.
That's really harsh.
Harsh in my opinion. So let me tell you why I don't like those Arteta quotes, right? Because he's spot on.
Yeah.
I agree with him. He's right. First game is Palace, 11 to go. It's a final. It's big. Tick, 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 tick. I agree with that. The issue I've got, though, is I don't think that should be the message. I don't think...
The public message, is that what you mean? Or
yeah, even behind the scenes. Like, the players know it's massive. If one player is in that dressing room doesn't understand how big it is now that we're entering the last 11 games, that we're in March and we're 5 points clear and we're going to another Premier League match at home, if they don't understand how big that is, then it shouldn't be a part of this title race. They understand. I think the message has got to be more, look, bad night, we've had a terrible night here, but we've had a great season, on to the next. And I think now building it up, unless he thinks he'll know his players better than any of us, if he thinks that's the way to get the reaction out of the players, great, and we'll see. But if Arsenal look really nervous and tepid, you know, after putting 3 past Bournemouth, 4 past Everton, 3 past Fulham, doing their job largely in the league, though okay, we've been a bit leaky at the back, and suddenly we're not creating chances, and suddenly our football looks really kind of static and nervous and a bit lethargic, I start going, well, hold on, this is nerves. This is nothing but nerves, because you weren't that tired the week before. Yes, you played 120 minutes, but most of them have actually had their time managed nicely. So I just, it's Crystal Palace at home. They're a good team.
Yeah.
Okay? They've not had shots on target recently. They've lost to Brighton. They're in bad form, but they've got good players. It's not going to be easy. But my word, this shouldn't be like a cup final slog, just by any means win. It shouldn't be like that. And I don't want that to be the messaging either.
When you say cup...
Do you get what I mean?
I get what you mean, but at the same time, I also understand what Mikel means as well. Because we can't afford to lose anything. And we've been in situations before where we've gone to, for example, a Palace at home. You only got to look at last season, Palace at home. We done well to get a result there. Like, it's possible that we can slip up in these games. We saw it with Brentford a couple of weeks ago.
A lot of people disagreeing with what I've said about Arteta's quotes. Look, like I said, he knows his players. He has delivered an unbelievable campaign, really, when you look at everything so far this season. He will know what's best. I just think last season we're quite an emotional team. We got quite emotional in key moments. I don't think we benefited from them. And we said the same thing after we beat Villa, which was 12 games to go in March. We had 11 to go. We came back from the international break, 3 defeats on the bounce. Like, you know, and there was reasons for that. There were multiple reasons: injuries, Arteta's selection against Brighton, there were things. But largely, I think Arsenal just were like, the pressure, they were just struggling to, that was a fight for top 4. Then we went to the bridge, we weren't expected to do anything. We suddenly started playing our football again. Then we beat United, then we beat West Ham, and we're feeling ourselves again. It's all good. Then we went to Tottenham, and it was too much of that kind of energy again. So I just don't want it's a fine line. It's difficult, and like I said, people are right. What the hell do I know? I just think it's about keeping cool, calm, and collected on to the next 3 points. I don't think Man City are riding this mad, crazy wave in the Champions League or the Premier League. I think they're just going, cool, game by game, we know what to do, we know what we can do. But maybe this team needs to be charged a little bit differently, and I hear that. Be honest, if you had to pick, who would your penalty taker be? I think Saka's been taking them really well and slotting them away, so Saka's our penalty taker.
I always believe if you've got a penalty taker, you stick with that penalty taker until they miss one, and it's someone else's turn.
Marcus says disappointing result. Jesus should have stayed on a little longer. We played a lot better with him on. So many chances not taken in the second half. Maybe not second half, but certainly the extra time. I think they were desperate to use that opportunity of a substitution at half time.
Absolutely, and I don't think it's the right decision to be giving Gabriel Jesus more than 45 minutes at the moment. He's literally just come back. We don't want to risk anything popping up again. I think he made the right decision in giving him 45 minutes today, and maybe that is what he needed to get the fitness to start the game on Sunday.
I'm crying. City fans saying stop talking about us like I wasn't just complimenting your team, but whatever pisses you off, fair enough. All right, we're gonna end on some final callers. Apologies that we've had issues with the technology and stuff today, but we will try rattle through some now. So who have we got that we can chat to? Let's talk to Kay.
Hi, Kay.
Kay?
Hey guys, how's it going?
Yeah, not great, but it's good to chat to you. Just the one question, hit us with your answer, your feelings on tonight. How do you reflect on it really in the grand scheme of things, in the bigger picture of the season?
Honestly, I'm not as disappointed like most people. I think we could have been much clinical. We could have won this game. I think we were playing a really good team as well. I don't think Sporting is a bad team. Like, look at the first leg. They played really well, and we could have lost that game. So I think we could have done better. I don't think we necessarily played badly. Sporting was just that good, very technical, and I think that's just the reality. So I think we may be being overly critical. We could have won this game, look at their goal. PKs, I see PKs as luck, anyone can win PKs. It's basically a mind game, so
I agree with you. Sorry to cut you there. I agree with you. I think as bad as we played, we had the chances to win the game. Gabriel forces 2 big saves, Trossard hits the post. That's 3 alone to just in extra time. Second half we didn't do anything. I hear that, but yeah, I agree. We could have won it, but we didn't, and I don't think we were ever really deserving of it for the performance we put in.
And I think another thing is the risk. Is it worth? Like, look at some of the tackles that were flying in today. Like, look at the red card one on Saka. Like, is it worth losing Saliba, Tomiyasu, Saka because of the Europa League? I don't think so. I think we're on course to win the league. I think the players are confident and they're ready to win the league. I listened to Fabio's interview, and it looks like they're ready to win the league. So I don't think it's worth risking our players for the Europa League when how many 11 games to go. We can win this thing, rather than, because it's high energy, going like every Thursday, flying out to. We could lose. We could have more injuries because of the Europa League and end up not winning the league. So I don't know. I know which one you would choose.
Premier League. Listen, it's the focus is the Premier League. It's just disappointing we went out the way we did. Pleasure to chat to you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Thanks for joining us. Let's bring Deanie in. Hey Deanie. We've chatted a lot after games. This will certainly be the most disappointing so far, I think. Maybe City at home, but yeah, go on, your thoughts.
I was annoyed when we lost to Brighton. I was annoyed when we lost to City, and now I'm annoyed that we lost to Sporting. Me personally, I just don't like going out of cup competitions. I want to win everything.
I hear it.
I want to win everything. And I had a weird moment just before I just came home, and I thought to myself, we didn't lose the tie tonight. I'd say we kind of lost in the first leg from the sloppy goals that we conceded. Like what? Thinking back to it now, no Arsenal player jumped in the box for their first goal, and we had 7 players in the box against their 2 and they scored. It's just oh, it's just annoying. It's just annoying. It's sad. It's sad. It's sad. It's sad. But at the end of the day, as the negatives done, we need to go to Crystal Palace on Sunday, and we need to just stamp our authority back again. And we need to go into the international break with an 8-point lead ahead of City, albeit with a game in hand. We just need to do that. And then we need to come back against Leeds after the international break and be like, okay, cool, let's go. That's it. That's it.
Final question. Do you think they will? Do you think you'll get that response on the weekend from Arsenal?
Yes, because if we don't, boy, I'm just going,
He doesn't want to think about it. I can see it.
It's ride or die to the end of the season. It's ride or die now.
I hear that. Fair enough. Always a pleasure, Dini.
Thank you,
Always
Dini.
a pleasure.
Take care,
Let's
boy.
bring in Louis.
Hi, Louis.
Ooh.
Thank you for the whistle.
What's up, everybody?
You're right. How you doing, Louis?
Everybody else, man, I'm pretty disappointed. Me personally, I am really upset about dropping out of this competition.
Yeah, so we should be.
I enjoy winning, and I think that that's a mentality setter. I don't think any time we lose, really, it's acceptable. So, and looking back on the team that Arteta put out there, I personally believe that that team was more than good enough to go out there and perform. We were at home. We knew what we needed to do. We needed to beat Sporting at home to get on to the next round. And the fact that we weren't able to do that, that's very disappointing and frustrating.
I agree. I fully agree.
And to kind of build off of this real quick, these are professional athletes. These are professional athletes who should be more than capable of playing 2 soccer matches, 2 football matches a week.
Mm-hmm.
Next year, hopefully, pray, nothing catastrophic comes off of this, and obviously we qualify for the Champions League through the league next year. But when we're in the Champions League next year, are we going to be able to rotate our team Tuesday, Wednesday to Saturday?
Yeah. I absolutely agree.
We're going to have to play those matches. We're going to need our first team playing Champions League, then coming back and maybe making 1 or 2 changes to come back and play on Saturday next year. Mm-hmm. So this whole notion of, we cannot have our first team or these are professional athletes who should be more than capable of playing 2 football matches a week. That's what I think about that, because next year, that's what it's going to have to be.
Mm-hmm. I agree. You're spot on. Some great points. Thank you so much. Honestly, you're right. You are right. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Let's bring in John James. He was spot on, by the way.
Absolutely.
Players do have to be able to play 2 games a week, and I know De Bruyne has been rested at times during the season, but look at the amount of football Haaland's played. Look at the amount of football a lot of Man City players have played. Not in Liverpool players. I know Liverpool having a bit of an off year, but for 4 or 5 years they were playing Champions League, competing in all these cups, going all the way. And look, maybe it's taking its toll this season, but not in the same season. Maybe after 4 or 5 years. John James, welcome. Disappointing.
Hey guys, can you hear me all right?
Yeah, yes. I can hear you good. I'm gonna say a statement, and you can react to this however you want, right?
Yep.
I am so effing sick of the Europa League. I'm so done with it. We weren't even in it last year. I'm done with it. The last 6 years, I've been miserable with it. I hate it. I actually like the competition. Actually, I think it's good that it exists. Don't get me wrong, but just participating in it, I hate it. That's it. That's my statement.
Well, my brother's a Liverpool fan, and he was chatting to me the other day saying he's staring down the barrel of the reality of the fact that Liverpool might be in Europa League next season, and he said it was killing him.
Yeah.
So I understand. It's not the competition that's that big for us, and it kind of fits into the point I was going to make that when you have a mid-table team that go really far in a cup competition, it doesn't matter if they've got that big cup competition coming up on the weekend, or semi-final, a quarter-final, whatever it is. It doesn't matter how much you kind of clap your hands as a manager, remind them of the importance of that league game that you've got. It's almost like the players can't get away from the fact that there's that thing looming in the background, that big, really big thing that you're trying to go for that for your club will mean so much. And I just feel like that's kind of been my feeling watching Arsenal throughout the whole Europa League, basically.
Yeah,
is that the Premier League campaign has been so absolutely amazing that there's always this feeling playing Europa League is like, we got to go and do this now. And it's a little bit going through the motions. the intensity that I see us play with in every Europa League game against PSV, against Bordeaux Glint, against it's not been close. Not one game in the Europa League could I point to you and say that game was, what would you say, similar to the type of performance we've used to seeing Arsenal putting in the Premier League. And the irony of going out of it now, of course, is that every league game is like a cup final for us. But the Invincibles didn't win any cups. I'm older fan. I can remember us going out to Middlesbrough in the semi-final of the League Cup in the Invincibles season. We lost 2-1 in the semi-final, the second leg of the League Cup. A lot of Arsenal fans weren't very happy about that at the time. And similar kind of conversation to what we have now. It puts us pressure to win on the league. Blah blah blah. And listen, we all remember the Invincibles, right? They didn't win a single cup competition, and the fact of the matter is, these boys now for this Arsenal team have got the chance to make themselves obviously not the level of the Invincibles, but their names will be cemented in Arsenal folklore and Arsenal history forever, and they got 11 games to do it.
Great, I think that's a great way to put it. Really great chatting to you, John James. I think that is absolutely spot on. I hope the players hear that. Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Last caller, Stephen and Alexander.
Hey,
what a great way to end. Suddenly the night was good. How are you guys?
James, what can I say? Very disappointing, but we gotta take it on the chin and move on. Whenever you take a game to penalties, then it just becomes a lottery, and there's no guarantee that you're gonna win. I certainly think we had chances to win the game. That period when we scored our goal, we were pretty dominant at that point, and a couple of chances, if the ball bounces our way, maybe it's a different story. James, I heard what you said about Ramsdale. He actually watched the flight. It was a great goal, great finish. I'm not taking anything away from it. But I think he misjudged the flight of the ball, because he tracked that ball for quite a while, and I think he actually could have gone back there. I think he just misjudged it. But I have to agree with you. His performance on the penalties was a little subpar. What do you think, Alex?
It's a tough one. We're used to seeing Arsenal win nowadays because with the results we've been seeing, and to lose to Sporting when we were expecting early on in the season, we were thinking, okay, we can win 3 trophies. We're competing for the Premier League. Everything's good now. But maybe we've had a little piece of humble pie here, bringing us back down. But it's not like we were dominated today.
I agree. So I kept telling people,
extra time, it was one that was saved onto the post, the Trossard chance. And it's not like we were dominated. And on another day, I feel like we could have won this by maybe 2 goals, but the cards didn't fall our way, and it's a tough one. But we just have to move on to Crystal Palace. Arteta knows the team better than we do, so he'll say that inspirational speech. Hey guys, it wasn't our day, but we're on to the next one, and that's how we have to take it. So it sucks that we're out of the Europa League, but what can we do about it now?
Yeah, that's a very interesting spin on it, actually. Could humble pie be a good thing? Could a little bit of, listen, you ain't won anything yet. Sporting just came and embarrassed you out the Europa League. Maybe that could be the kind of wake-up call that some of the players need. I'm going to ask you, are we going to get a reaction on Sunday?
James, we need a reaction. We need a reaction. The one thing that the fans can do, and I think, if I'm not wrong, I hope it wasn't just something being played. It seemed like the fans were cheering. I had them cheering Arsenal, even after the penalty shootout. And so I'm hoping the fans stay right behind the team.
I think they will.
And don't start picking out anybody, because the team needs to be galvanized. We need to stay together, and we need to have a chance to fight for this trophy.
I have a feeling. Go on. Sorry, Karen.
Also, I hope the players realize that it's probably 1 a.m. in the UK right now. 1 a.m.
12:15.
12:15. I hope these players realize that these fans, they're not on these players like that. They want the best for the players, and they want the best for the club, and they're still supporting them, even when it doesn't go our way, like today. So I hope the players realize that, and hopefully we can get a reaction out of them on Crystal Palace.
Well said.
Yeah, well, absolutely well said. I'll make a prediction. I think the Emirates is going to be a cauldron on Sunday, and I think the players are going to come flying out the blocks.
James, since you said that, then as disappointing as it is, we're not going to do it, but we're going to have to today. So up the Arsenal and come on, you Gunners!
I love that. Their signature ending, as always. A big thank you.
Do you know what? One of the things I want to say before we end this stream is I love how positive everyone seems to still be about our chances of winning this league, because we can go back to as early as the Man City game. I think there were some people even in the studio at the time that were guilty of saying, "Oh, we've not done it now. It's over. City will overtake us from here." But the fan base as a whole, since that game, have been fantastic in the response in terms of believing again. And it's just, even after the upsetting results, everyone still seems to believe that, okay, sometimes you get your game by game people, but I don't think since I've been on the show that I've heard anyone else say that, we're not going to do it now. Everyone seems to be together, and that is what is needed. It's very.
So Ibby's mentioned it here as well. He says, loved the fans cheering even after the loss. Still a special period in my opinion. I've never seen our fans be like that in my life. Really proud of us fans. I didn't know that was their reaction at full time, but that is fantastic.
I think we'd already taken the headsets off by then.
I think we had. So fair play to them. Right, that's it. I'm done being miserable. Done. Glasses off. I don't know what that changes, but I'm done being miserable. Cool, it's happened. Sportive knocked us out. It's shit. It's shit. I wanted to go through. I did. But it's done now. It's happened. It's not the full focus. If I said to you, here, you're going to win the Europa League but finish second, would you take it? None of you would have taken it. So we know where our minds are. To a degree, it looked like that for the players. But that's not acceptable. It's happened. We go again Sunday.
I'm
sure the Emirates will be a cauldron. I'm going to be there. Are you
at the game?
Yeah. I think
my fucking heart out. I think I'm here.
Enjoy. Yeah. You might hear me.
I might have to take your seat and host.
Yeah. Don't know who you'll be fighting for it.
No, I don't know.
All right. A big thank you to everyone. Sorry about the problems on Fan Zone. Sorry for the issues with the stream. I know that can't be great for people who were watching it, but also everyone waiting in the background to chat to us. Apologies for that. I know a lot of people have had a lot to get off their chest. People would have had a lot to get off their chest today, but look, it's happened now. Cool, we're out. Forget it. Never happened. On to the league.
Good night all.
See you next time.